killed Miles, and you're going over for it.
How can you do this to me, Sam?
What happens at the end of these novels is always the same. The hero doesn't restore order. He's a man defining the best values he can and doing the best he can with it. But it's not restoring order, because it's a chaotic universe.
Spade's explanation of his own behavior comes when he first senses something dangerously crooked in Bridget's game. The parable he tells her gets us as close as we may come to Hammett's own vision of how the world works. It's a parable about a man named Flitcraft.
Flitcraft was a respectable, happily married real estate dealer in Tacoma who went out to lunch one day and never returned. There was no apparent explanation. He went like that, like a fist when you open your hand. 5 years later, Spade was investigating his disappearance for Mrs. Flitcraft. Spade found him in Washington, living under another name. He spoke to Flitcraft and learned what had happened on that day, 5 years earlier. Going to lunch, Flitcraft had passed an office building that was being put up. A beam or something fell 8 or 10 stories down and smacked the sidewalk alongside him. It brushed pretty close to him, but didn't touch him, though a piece of the sidewalk was chipped off and flew up and hit his cheek. He was scared stiff, of course, but he was more shocked than really frightened. He felt like somebody had taken the lid off life and let him look at the works. Flitcraft had been a good citizen, husband, and father simply because he was a man most comfortable in step with his surroundings. He had been raised that way. The people he knew were like that. Now, a falling beam had shown him that men lived only while blind chance spared them. Insensibly ordering his affairs, he had got out of step and not into step with life. By the time he had eaten his lunch, he decided he would change his life at random by simply going away. He went off that afternoon, wandered around for a couple of years, then drifted back to the Northwest, settled in Spokane, and got married. His second wife did not look like the first, but they were more alike than they were different. Flitcraft wasn't sorry for what he had done. He had left his first family adequately provided for. Spade didn't think he even knew he had settled back into the same groove that he had jumped out of in Tacoma. But that's the part of it he always liked. He adjusted himself to beams falling, and then no more of them fell. And he adjusted himself to them not falling.
End of parable.